Up is another amazing presentation by Mr. Mishra, Security Consultant Checkpoint Software Technologies. It will be followed by a panel discussion very soon. So I request Mr. Mishra to please join us on the stage, and requesting you, sir, we have 10 minutes for the presentation. We'll stick to the time. Thank you.
Good morning everyone and namaste. Today I would be mostly talking about what has changed, like post-pandemic, things have changed gradually in the cybersecurity, right? If I see before pandemic, if I take data that was for 5 years from 2016 to 2020, there were attacks, but it has majorly changed post-pandemic, that is 2021 and 2022. Major attacks like Log4j and many others. So we'll be talking about the same here. So this is mostly covering most of the latest trends that we are seeing. First would be our ransomware, double extortion kinds of attacks, maybe exchange vulnerability attacks, and the major ones that are the supply chain attacks that you see here. So coming on to the thing I just said, that 2021 and 22 has been very prolific about the attacks that has been there. May it be SolarWinds, or Log4j, and what has been behind it. That is very important. That is the adoption of new technology. When pandemic came, we were mostly focusing on the perimeter security, and we were not that much ready to adopt cloud or maybe IoT at that point of time, and the major one that was remote workforce adoption. So we tried to amalgamate most of the things to start working, and our journey never stops. But we were not ready on the security point of view. We were taking point solutions, we were just integrating them and working on make and change basis. But the problem was where we were not ready on a cyber security front. And that actually increased these trends. Focusing majorly that where we were in Gen 1, we already know that antivirus protection was there, then we are talking about the firewall, and then the IPS. But later on we got some more prevalent, and we went with the behavioral based analysis. But currently things are not same. Currently we are talking about multi-vector attacks, and this is the security gap that we are seeing. We are, most of the places if you go, they have IPS, they have behavioral based analytics solutions. But are we covering on a multi-vector protection? Probably not. And this multi-vector protection will come if we have a better threat intel. That is what everyone is talking about. And before threat intel, currently what we are based on? We are based on detection-based approach, which has to be changed, and that is what Checkpoint is bringing onto a change from a detection-based approach to a prevention-based approach. Talking about the complete security, to amalgamate or to get a better threat intel, you should be working on majorly all the forces where the cybersecurity products are. Talking about the endpoint maybe, or on your cloud, or your perimeter security as well. And that is where Checkpoint is covering each and everything all together. Also, when talking about cloud, so today we heard that we are talking about application security and everything, but currently also it is not integrated with the CI/CD pipeline. Where today Checkpoint is talking about the shift left technology, where while you are making the applications, it should be secured during the code. So that is there. And then obviously we have the endpoint products, not going majorly on products today because taking it on a major perspective of cybersecurity altogether as a concept. Moving further, what I was rightly talking about, the threat intel part. We are moving towards AI and ML these days. And that is where it is very important talking about threat intel that Checkpoint is having. Mostly we are having all the products that we need these days in the cybersecurity industry. That makes us talking better on the threat intel platform. Because our threat intel platform that has been there for 29 years has amalgamated all kind of threats that has been there in the market, may it be of cloud, endpoint, or your perimeter security. In fact, if I talk about one of the major attack that happened in recent days, that was about Log4j, it was only Checkpoint who was able to protect it without having any signature. And that was only because we were having our better threat intelligence. We were having a WAF, that is obviously the homegrown Checkpoint WAF, and that was given us the intel. So not just threat intel should be there, but with all the products of threat intel, you should have a shared intelligence altogether. And majorly that is the crux of all the cyber security product that should be there. Governance is there, anything would be there, but to secure you should have that intelligence altogether spread along the platforms to secure you. Moving further, if I talk about threat cloud, it actually gets approximately 88 to 90 vulnerabilities per day, and that is by the NSS lab has been given a 100% recommendation by the NSS lab as well. Now taking you further with what has changed in Checkpoint and what new Checkpoint is doing, aligning with the digital increase that we are happening. So talking about the digital transformation, the first thing when we talk about a digital transformation is lots of data and lots of data. So if we are talking about data, it should be there that we can't predict where we are going to go in next 3 years or maybe in next 5 years. Now, if you can't actually predict today that where you will be in next 3 years or 5 years on the basis of your data, you won't be able to, size maybe. And that is where Checkpoint is helping you. So the Checkpoint solution of Mishra, it is actually helping you to cluster any kind of firewall that Checkpoints have. It shouldn't be identical. Maybe a 10 GB firewall is aligning with a 2 GB firewall working in the active clustering, giving you a major throughput that you require today. So you take a firewall and grow as your data expectation grows. Also, as it is working on an active clustering part, if one of the firewall goes, maybe you can easily integrate it and the load will be shared in the other firewalls. So that is something new that has come into the market, and up to 52 firewalls can be added into an active clustering model. So this is what has come up, and you can take up to 3.2 Tbps of throughput from the same. Now, if we are talking about that much of data coming into us, how are we, securing it? Maybe, okay, we are dealing with that much of throughput, but obviously then latency would be there. So coming on to the second one, that is light speed. The Checkpoint has, and it gives you a speed of 3 nanoseconds to just cater the throughput of 800 Gbps. So it is right now the fastest firewall in the market that Checkpoint is offering. And it's a Checkpoint patent technology where we have integrated with NVIDIA for the same. Moving on to the next, you can see that 800 Gbps was there. Checkpoint has also got its native SD-WAN, where you can integrate all your SD-WAN resources, so you don't have to go to a third-party vendor, and shared responsibility won't be there. So the SD-WAN and the security both will be taken care of by Checkpoint itself. These are the major activities that we cater to. The SD-WAN analysis, the link monitoring, traffic steering, self-healing, all these things will be done by the SD-WAN of Checkpoint itself, and without compromising any security, because we understand security better than any vendor of SD-WAN, probably. Moving on further, we are also working on IoT, because with the changing trends and everything, we are moving towards IT and OT. And with the movement of IT and OT, it is very important that we provide the security along with it, and that is what Checkpoint is doing. So in IoT and OT security, we are giving you a discovery, because with discovery you will get to know that what all things are there and what you have to secure, all the assets, and then a zero trust policy and threat prevention. So all your governance for the policies would be done there, and then the unified event and management, where you have a central portal to organize all the security that you have built into. And you don't have to buy anything else for it. It's just the Checkpoint firewall doing it for you. Now talking about all the solutions that we have, it is very important that the consolidation should be there. So for consolidation, we have our own threat cloud that we were talking about, and then the infinity approach that we carry, where we have the shared intelligence and shared dashboard feeds on our infinity for each and every product that Checkpoint has. So you can define it centrally, manage it centrally, and get all the logs and views and reports centrally. In fact, coming on to logging and reporting, Checkpoint has been given a central, from Gartner, we are the gold standard dashboards for it. So that. And then moving on to Horizon, that is our basically stock and so for Checkpoint, where we are managing each and everything as a service. Also, we have unified events collaborating and giving you and suggesting you what all should be done. Also, one major thing that we see when we talk about attacks, that is that most of the time, we see that the configuration issue was there, and that is a major concern for each and everyone, that if we, most of the security devices are secure, but they are not properly configured. So for Checkpoint, we have certain blades in all our products where you provide that how those products should be configured in a better way. And that is all. That brings me to the summary where I was talking about the adaptive security, the threat intelligence and the shared intelligence is very needful, and also a multi-vector prevention when we are moving on towards a digital transformation. Thank you.
Can we have a huge round of applause for such an amazing presentation and right in time? I request you to please be on the stage, and I request Dr. Suchitra Pyarelal, DDG and SIO NIC Assam, to please join us on the stage and give us the speaker memento to Mr. Amber Mishra, who is the Security Consultant, Checkpoint Software Technologies. A huge round of applause.